Welcome to the last class in the How to Write an eOrganic Article course. This class is about how your article will be reviewed, which should help you figure out whether your article is ready to submit. So as you know, we are planning two competitions. One is for the American Society for Horticultural Science Conference, and the other is for the Tri-Society Conference. There'll be 5 winners for the ASHS contest and 5 winners for the Tri-Societies competition. The entries will be judged by eOrganic staff and members of the organic interest groups from the respective professional societies associated with the conferences. The winners will have their articles peer-reviewed and checked for organic certification compliance and published to the eOrganic public website at eOrganic.org. And the students will present their article at an oral session at the conference. They will receive reimbursement for their conference registration, abstract fees, U.S. domestic travel, and meals up to $1,500. These costs will be reimbursed to the student after the conference, and funding for these competition is being provided by a NIFA OEI grant. The conferences take place at the following dates and times. The ASHS conference is in Orlando, Florida from August 9th to 13th, 2020, and the Tri-Societies conference is in Phoenix, Arizona from November 8th to 11th, 2020. The call for papers is going out the week of November 18th, 2019, and the tentative deadline is February 15th, 2020. After the deadline closes, the articles will be judged by the following criteria. They must be written according to the eOrganic instructions for authors. Please read these instructions carefully before preparing your article. The articles must be written at a technical level, which is appropriate for a general audience of producers, extension agents, agricultural professionals, organic inspectors, and certifiers. They must be accurate and current, and different from other published articles already on eOrganic. Any products recommended in the article must be in compliance with NOP regulations, and the article must be appropriate for the scope of the respective conference. So now we're going to take a closer look at our instructions for authors and the eOrganic review form. So eOrganic content is derived from research conducted in organic systems, from information from farmers and agricultural professionals and other practitioners that demonstrate best practices on organic farms, research conducted in conventional agricultural systems that are relevant to organic systems, and regulation-based information, for example, how to comply with a particular organic regulation. The articles must be well written with correct grammar and usage, and formatting, as described in these instructions, must be completed by the author before the article is reviewed. If English isn't your first language, please have your article checked and edited by your supervising professor or by a colleague so that you can avoid common mistakes and the article reads fluently. Articles that mention materials such as pest control products should be accompanied by a note that readers should check with their certifiers and state or local government regulations before applying products. We don't want to recommend anything that would endanger the certification status of a reader. We have some language in our instruction for authors that can easily be pasted into an article. The terms of use for eOrganic are that all authors must sign up for an account at eOrganic.info. Please also make sure that nothing is already published on your subject on eOrganic. To find out, you can go to eOrganic's public website at eOrganic.org and browse the articles on your topic. So I just wanted to go back and talk about how our style guide works on the instructions for authors. It's really quite simple and really not too much different than any other instructions that you might encounter, but please do read them carefully because there are some specific differences. All articles should have a title that should be optimized for readers over editors and for a general audience over specialists. It's important that your title contains the keywords that a person trying to find your article would use in a search, because most people find eOrganic articles simply by typing in whatever topic they're looking for information on into a search engine. So be specific. This is a good title right here: Managing Diseases of Tomato in the Midwest Using Organic Methods. Don't use catchy titles, use real words that accurately describe the article's content. Also, please include the word organic or the words organic farming so that people know that what they're going to be finding is some information on certified organic farming. The article should have an introduction which introduces the main points and the importance of the topic in a readable, engaging, and generally understandable way for a mixed audience of people who might not be familiar with scientific terms or acronyms. In other words, this should be written in plainer language than the technical and dry language of many scientific journal articles. We went over this in a lot of detail in our first class session. The article should also conclude in a way that does not leave off abruptly, and research findings should be summarized in a way that practitioners would find useful. Please include headings and capitalize all nouns and most words with 4 or more letters in the headings. Use headings at the start of each section so that it's very easy to find the information in the article. If you're composing the article on the eOrganic website, which is not mandatory, you can choose under format heading 2, and subheadings you can use heading 3, but you can simply submit the article to us in Word. An introduction heading can be used if you have additional headings on the page. Paragraphs should not be indented. Press return to insert paragraph breaks, and to insert a line break, you can simply press shift return. We ask that people use bulleted lists rather than numbered lists unless you're referring to a specific number of options or a specific sequence of items. Tables. A simple table will often paste in reasonably for us into our program from Excel, but if you're submitting the article as a Word document, please also send us the table in Excel separately from the Word document in case it's needed, because sometimes there's some missing spaces or extra spaces in the table and we need to modify it a little bit before we can paste it into our program. Please do not submit the tables as images or PDFs, because often the resolution will not be high enough when they're pasted in as an image into our website. If you have a series of articles or a very long article with a lot of subtopics, you might want to include a table of contents, and we can make that into links when we put the article onto our website. Images are always very important. We have some good tips on the types of images you can use in our class session 3. Most software programs can resize images, but so if you just send us as good resolution as you have, we can resize them for our website. Please obtain permission from the photographer or whoever created the image so that we can publish them on our website, and please include the photo credit below the image. Here's an example of a photo credit right here and how that should be done. We would like an email evidence of permission to use a particular image, and we record that just in case there's a problem later. For figures, we need to make the figure into an image, so please send us a good resolution figure. The captions should just say, like in this example, figure 1, and then have the caption which explains the image, and then include the photographer or whoever created the image. Also, please include references and use the format that we have in our instructions for authors, and use the references and citations section for references that are actually mentioned in the article, but use additional resources to list additional websites or other resources that people might find useful that you did not actually cite in the article. The citation format, as I mentioned, is very clearly explained in the instructions for authors, and please contact us if you have any questions. All eOrganic articles are peer refereed and also checked for organic certification compliance and copy edited before we publish them on our website. And we plan to do that, have it all ready to go before the conference, and then we will publish the articles at eOrganic.org immediately after the conference. So before we publish our articles, in addition to having them judged by the judges of the different competitions, we will also have the articles peer reviewed by 2 anonymous reviewers who are experts in the subject. And we send each of these reviewers a review form so that they can fill it out and evaluate the article. And this is what's on the review form right here so that you can see what criteria are used. Clarity: will the intended audience be able to clearly understand the text? Is the length of the text about right for the intended message? Is the article accurate and current? Is the subject matter accurate and current? So in other words, we want to publish articles with the most current information. If tables and figures are used, are the tables and figures easy to read and understand? In other words, they should be pretty clear for someone who isn't a statistician to be able to understand. Then we ask people to recommend whether not to publish the article, whether to publish it with minor revisions, with major revisions, or whether they simply recommend it to publish because it really doesn't need very many changes. And then there's a space for comments. We have some people, we've had some questions about the competition. One person asked whether they can submit an article for both competitions. We do ask that you specify which competition the article is for, and the article, as I mentioned before, has to fit within the scope of the particular conference. So in other words, the ASHS conference is primarily about horticultural crops, and the Tri-Societies conference can be about agronomy or plant breeding or crop plants. So you know, use your judgment to figure out which of the competitions your article would fit into. It's possible that one article might fit into both competitions' scope, but please tell us which competition you would prefer to attend. And another person asked us whether or not they can still have their article published on eOrganic if it isn't chosen as one of the winners. And the answer is yes, if the article is evaluated well by the judges and we think it is worthy of publication, you can still have a publication on eOrganic. And this slide is for the students who actually registered for our eOrganic article class in person live. And we asked them to submit their articles for feedback this week if you have not already done so. But we'll be putting out the call for competition entries the week of November 18th. So here's some contact information here and some additional resources of where you can find all the eOrganic articles so that you can see whether or not there's already an article on your topic. And you can also get a sense of what eOrganic articles are like. Here's our link to our instructions for authors. Here's where you can join eOrganic. This is a community website. It's not publicly available, but some of the things like the instructions for authors are publicly available, and there are also some research projects websites there that you can look at to learn more about organic research projects that work together with eOrganic. And then we have the contact information here of me, Alice Formiga, and the other organizers of this competition who have helped out and presented with this class. So thank you very much, and I hope you can enter our competitions in the coming